stage, starting with the Principal Secretary, Sri Rajiv Kumarji, and we have Ambarish Dasgupta, Mr. Ambarish Dasgupta, and Mr. Cecil Anthony, and I guess a couple of them are online. It's a great pleasure to be part of this particular conference. So I wear two hats. One is I'm a professor at IIM Bangalore, and next thing is I also the current president of Analytics Society of India, and we are planning this event with NSHM along with Professor Suparna, Professor Sarkar, and the entire team. So what I'm going to talk about is how Indian companies are using artificial intelligence. It's making a lot of big noise, and probably many of you are using ChatGPT, which gives a lot of challenge to us professors, because we don't know whether the answer is prepared by you or ChatGPT, right? Especially when we have a lot of take-home assignments and so on. But then there's also technology which figures out whether answer was created by ChatGPT or written by a person. But this is my favorite example when we talk about AI. Before AI, we used to have a generic framework called analytics. And why I use this example is that trying to understand what we do with the data and data science, right? So what you see here is Facebook relationship breakups. So when people break up, they go to their Facebook and then say that I'm single, I'm happy, I'm in the market, anybody else in the market, all that, right? And a lot of people break up in December. Question is, why? Anyone? Let us make this interactive. I don't want to just talk from this side. Why do you think a lot of people break up in December? One person? Answer? So as long as you're not talking to your partner, your relationship is fine. That's basically what this data says, right? But then, why should anybody care this data? Why should anybody look at this data? Okay? Does this pattern influence any businesses? Right? So now there are a lot of breakups happen in December. What is likely to happen? Which businesses will have an impact? Obviously, the online dating sites, there will be more traffic. So once you have a website where there is more traffic, there will be a lot of interest for advertisements, right? And if people are living together and they break up, at least one person has to get out of the house. That means the demand for housing will go up in January. You basically don't want to remember anything from the past. Anything reminds you of the past, you want to get it out, right? So basically what we are saying is that there is a pattern in relationship breakups, and that pattern has influence on many different types of business, right? So analytics or data science is trying to understand the pattern and create a one-to-one mapping, or basically join the dots to understand what that pattern means to various businesses, okay? But understanding patterns is not that easy, because today the data can be very, very complex. So when we do a regression model, maybe we are talking about 10 variables, 20 variables, 50 variables. What happens if you have 10 million variables? What happens if you have billion variables? How do you analyze them? And these variables are coming at a very, very high speed, right? So if you look at your ChatGPT, which uses a self-learning algorithm, which is part of unsupervised learning algorithm, imagine it is looking at all the data created by the entire world living in many, many different types of social media, not just two. And it extracts, synthesizes, and gives you an answer that whatever question you ask to them. Okay? I'll come and talk about how it gets used. It's a language model, basically. At the end of the day, you are creating a language model. Probably it has some applications, information is available at the fingertip. We don't know how far the information is true, because typically the last version was using data till September 2021. So what about the data which was created in last 2 years and so on? Any organization, they collect large number of data. Right? Any organization, small, medium, large, they would have an ERP system. The moment you have an ERP system, it collects a lot of data. What is the value of the data? Can you put a dollar figure against the value of this data? For example, Amazon. So Amazon has this recommender system. right? You would have experienced that people who purchase this, purchase these items. How much money do you think they are making through that? Any guess? Use your data correctly, you can probably create lot of wealth, right? It's not just for profit-making organizations. I'm also talking for government, right? So government has a different objective, like job creation, take care of the health of the citizens, and provide right kind of education, provide right kind of skill to the citizens and all that. So how do you make it in a very, very effective manner, right? But then there are a large number of other services of ChatGPT where a lot of people use those algorithms to gain insights from, for example, medical records and so on, right? And also there is a future value of the data that one collects. And for example, if you look at Amazon's page ranking algorithm, it's not this year, it's also, as long as they use the algorithm, it is going to generate that, okay? But when we talk about any of these algorithms, the most important thing is that are you asking the right question or are you solving the right problem? So let me give an example from India. So many of you probably buy from Big Basket, right? And when you actually order item through Big Basket, after you add items to the cart, and when you are able to check out, it asks this question, did you forget? And it gives few items. It is trying to predict that probably you forgot something. Because in online grocery, 60% of us forget at least one or two items. Forgetfulness of customers is very, very costly for this online grocery store. Why is that? If you forget and then say remember after 5 hours, you may go and place another order. This time small order, you just place the forgotten item. Now Big Basket is making 2 trips to the customer, increases the logistics cost, right? Or the person may go to a nearby Kirana store to buy the forgotten item. When the customer is already in a Kirana store, he or she is going to buy items that they may need in the future. It is going to reduce the revenue for Big Basket. Newborn babies, their immune system is still not developed and they can die. In India, the mortality rate is 25. So it's one of the highest in the world. If you look at countries like Japan or Germany, the neonatal sepsis death is almost 0, right? So what I am saying is that anybody says heart, lungs, okay, given COVID and all that, some of you may say lungs, okay? Anyone other than heart, lung, brain, any other answer? Liver, okay? Eyes, okay? Blood, okay? This is what I thought. Until I went a doctor, who was a naturopathy doctor. You know what he said? The most important part is your stomach. If your gut is not working fine, we eat a lot of toxins. Today, given the fact that most of the vegetables are highly polluted, meat is highly polluted, and we put all that in our stomach, if our gut is not working, the toxins will not go out. If the toxin doesn't go out, where do you think the toxin will end up? In all these parts you mentioned, it will actually make them ineffective.